Amazing grandmother's heartwarming story, discovered 20 years later, unexpected transformation revealed. Clara sat in her dimly lit attic, dust dancing around her like ghosts from memories long gone. She couldn't believe these letters had been hidden for so long. Each crisp paper cradled the faded ink of her late husband, Jack, whose dreams of opening a bakery with her whispered sweet promises amidst the chaos of life. As she read his words, they wrapped around her like a warm pie fresh out of the oven, igniting a passion she thought she'd lost. The longing to create, to feed, and to love again surged through her tired bones. For years, her apple pies had been the heart of their small Midwestern town. People would stand in line, their faces aglow with anticipation, just to grab a slice. Sweet memories filled her mind, little Emma and Tommy racing to the counter, the scent of cinnamon filling the air, laughter echoing in the corners. But since Jack passed, and she lost the bakery to rising costs and young, uninterested customers, her heart felt as empty as the bakery shelves. Loneliness wrapped around her like a thick winter coat. "Mom, you can't be serious about this," her son Mark said, disbelief pouring from his voice like syrup over pancakes. He had never understood the fire that burned within her, the dreams that still flickered in her heart despite the weight of her age. Sighing, Clara felt the gap widen between them, a gulf carved by misunderstandings and the tiresome clatter of a world that seemed to pass her by. Then that afternoon at the market, lights overhead twinkling, she heard it, the weary sigh of a baker's heart breaking down the street. The Garcia family's bakery was on the brink of closure, just like hers had been. Clara felt a pull in her chest, an ache of camaraderie with their struggle. She approached their shop, the door chiming softly as she stepped inside. The smell of fresh bread mixed with desperation hung in the air. "Can I help?" she asked, the words slipping out before she could stop them. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. The Garcia's eyes widened in surprise, almost disbelief. It was a small step, but it sparked a courage within her. Clara realized she wasn't just fighting for herself. This journey just might bring their community together. Neighbors, curious about the sudden commotion, slipped through the door like children in the first light of dawn. Clara, surrounded by her quirky friends, began to share tips, stories, and yes, even slices of her famous pies. The laughter was infectious, steeping into their souls, and soon the richness of connection filled every space. As her heart swelled with hope, she felt the distance between her and Mark start to close. Memories came rushing back, squeezing tight and unraveling heartstrings. She could see in his eyes the flickers of understanding take root, the realization that maybe dreams didn't have an expiration date, even if they were expertly baked in the oven of time. But just when the warmth of her heart reached its peak, a shadow loomed at her door, an unexpected figure she couldn't recognize. Clara's heart raced, the air thick with potential and the unknown. Would the past shatter her dreams again, or would it finally unite them all? Clara's heart hammered as the shadow stepped into the light. Standing there was a tall figure with sharp cheekbones and a familiar look that sent a jolt through her. It was Diego Garcia, the son of the bakery owners. The frustration carved into his features spoke volumes, but Clara's gaze softened when she saw the unmistakable spark of determination in his eyes. "Clara," he started, his voice steady yet filled with anxiety, "we're struggling. The shop, I think it's south, about to close for good." His words hung in the air, thick with desperation. Feeling a deep connection to this young man, Clara stepped forward. "Diego, we need to come together. Your family's bakery means so much to this community, and honestly so does mine. What if we team up? We could merge our strengths and create something wonderful." His brows knitted together as doubt danced in his expression. "You don't understand, Clara. It's not just about baking. It's bills, and permits, and—" "I know," she interrupted softly. "But maybe we can do this together. Let us put our hearts back into what we love: baking, sharing, and feeding not just our stomachs but our souls. Diego shifted his weight, still hesitant, but Clara saw something shift in him, a flicker of hope igniting behind the concern. She pressed on. You've got talent. I've been around for long enough to know how to keep that oven running. Together, we can revive the spirit of these kitchens. As discussions swirled around them, her heart brimmed with excitement. They plotted and planned, dreaming of new flavors and ideas. Clara's mind raced with images of golden croissants, sharply scented herb bread, and of course, apple pie, warm and gooey. Laughter filled the shop as ideas bounced around, and for the first time in a long while, Clara felt alive. The community began to drift in, curiosity piqued. Neighbors, former customers, and friends gathered as their conversations blended, forming an orchestra of hopeful chatter. Some brought flour, others brought eggs and dairies, and they began to knead the dough of camaraderie and cooperation. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, Clara caught Mark watching. His expression was unreadable, but she could sense the storm of emotions brewing within him. She could see the struggle on his face, an internal battle between skepticism and the warmth radiating from the bakery. "Mom," he called, breaking through the din. "Are you sure this is?" Clara turned, surprise mingling with determination in her eyes. "Mark, I found something. Not just in the letters, but in people. This is our chance to reconnect, to rekindle the community that is slipping away. Come help us." Mark took a deep breath, uncertainty lingering, but something shifted. Slowly, he walked into the shop, his phone still clutched tight in his hand. Clara noticed the way his shoulders relaxed a fraction, a good sign. The older generation was vintage, and the younger, tech-savvy. If they could meet in the middle, something amazing could unfold. Just then, Diego clapped his hands together. "Let us do a community bake-off. Invite everyone, have a great time, and maybe even raise some funds for the bakery." A murmur of thrill rippled through the crowd. Clara's eyes sparkled, hope blooming like wildflowers. It was a wild idea, yes, but what did they have to lose? But as excitement peaked, Clara felt the tension in the room shift again. A sense of uncertainty loomed just outside the open door. An entrepreneur from a rival bakery was watching, a calculating smile on his face. The challenge ahead pulsated in the air, looming larger than the warmth and joy they were creating inside the bakery's walls. Just as they began to strategize for the bake-off, her phone buzzed on the counter. Clara glanced at it, and every bit of hope she had built suddenly fell. The message was from the bank, and it was not good news. Would they have to face obstacles even before they began rekindling their dreams? Clara steadied her breath, the warmth of the moment threatened by the chill of reality. What could she even say? The light flickered in her eyes, and all she could think was this truly the moment they could turn it all around? Clara's heart pounded as if it wanted to leap out of her chest. She stared at the notification on her phone, fear creeping in. She had fought hard for this moment, built walls of hope with the people around her, only to have them shaken by the reality of numbers flashing on the screen. "Clara?" Mark's voice cut through her thoughts like a knife. "What is it? What did they say?" Clara hesitated. The joy in the room felt so fragile, like a bubble on the edge of bursting. Could she really bring them down with news of dwindling funds? "Just a message from the bank," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. It's nothing we can't handle. Let us focus on the bake-off for now." Mark's brow furrowed. "Mom, you can't just brush this off. We need a plan." He was right. They all needed a plan. Clara thought of Diego's words. They were in this together, all of them: the community, her family, and the bakery. Maybe needing a plan wasn't the end, maybe it was just the beginning. "All right," Clara said, injecting her voice with confidence. "Let us focus on what we can control. The bake-off." She smiled, hoping to reignite the excitement. "It's our chance to pull everyone in and raise some support. We'll need to bring our best ideas. Diego, how about we set up a booth for donations at the event?" Diego nodded, his initial hesitation starting to fade. "Yes. We can sell our best pastries and raise some funds. I can even make my grandmother's special coquitos. People love those. Clara turned to the crowd. Who wants to help? We need bakers. We need ideas. And most importantly, we need your hearts. Hands shot up, and Clara felt the warmth of community wrap around her. Laughter and chatter bubbled back up as people began forming teams and brainstorming themes. It was as if a gust of fresh air blew through the shop, bringing life back into its walls. In the midst of the hustle, Clara glanced over to where Mark stood. His earlier doubts softened as he joined a group of kids, already brainstorming their best dessert ideas. Perhaps he recognized, even amidst the confusion, that this shared effort pulled everyone closer. Clara felt a warmth spread through her. This was the connection she had been searching for, but as the group buzzed with excitement, Clara felt an uncomfortable sensation at the back of her mind. The shadow of the rival bakery owner still lingered, and the updates from the bank were like thunder in the distance. She couldn't shake the feeling that more confrontation was on the horizon. Just then, her phone buzzed again, another message from the bank. Clara hesitated. Did she dare look? She took a deep breath, dismissing it for now. She had to believe in what they were building together, in their shared resolve. But a small part of her couldn't dismiss the unease. She was beginning to feel the weight of the past decade tumble onto her shoulders. Clara. Diego's voice sliced through her thoughts. We need someone to organize the bake-off logistics. Do you have a list of everything we need? Clara quickly nodded. She felt the shift in energy, the stirring of strength within her. Let us write down everything: tables, chairs, ingredients, volunteers. This is happening. As they began to brainstorm again, Clara couldn't help but feel happiness blooming, fighting back the clouds of doubt. She felt like they were in the right place together. When the community bake-off day arrived, Clara stood in the center of the bustling bakery, filled with warm, sweet scents. There was laughter, chatter, and music wafting through the open windows. Everything was perfect until she spotted that familiar calculating smile, the rival bakery owner weaving through the crowd. Just at that moment, Clara's phone buzzed again, and dread spooled in her stomach as she glanced down, recognizing the bank's name on the screen. Whatever it said could change everything. What would it be? Would she dare to look? Clara's hand trembled slightly as she held her phone, the weight of anticipation heavy in the air. She felt every heart in the bakery pulse with hope and anxiety, almost as if they could sense her hesitation. Mom? Mark's voice brought her back. You okay? Swallowing hard, Clara nodded and forced a smile, though her heart was racing. Yeah, just one moment. The vibrant laughter and the sound of sizzling pastries almost drowned out the tension inside her. But inside the chaos of the bake-off, Clara's world seemed to pivot on the momentous choice ahead. Should she reveal the potential doom looming over them, or should she trust in the community they had built and protect it with the truth, however uncomfortable? With a shaky breath, she opened the message, her eyes darting over the screen. The words blurred for a moment, and she had to blink, willing the details into focus. The image of financial uncertainty jumped off the screen, as stark and unforgiving as a jagged knife. But then her eyes landed on a crucial phrase. Extended payment deadline. Her heart picked up speed again, this time with a flicker of relief. It wasn't definitive good news, but it bought them time to rally support and prove their worth. Clara. Diego's voice rang out again, drawing her attention. He was busy pouring ingredients into a mixer, an infectious energy swirling around him. His laughter mingled with those of the kids he was working beside as they argued playfully over the perfect frosting shade. Clara. He called again, breaking her reverie. What do you think about chocolate-covered strawberries as a new addition? We could sell them for a donation. It can be our special item that nobody can resist. Clara stepped forward, the earlier anxiety taking a back seat to the infectious spirit surrounding her. Absolutely. We should have a few showcase items. From the corner, Mark's expression turned serious. Mom? He nibbled at his lip, his gaze sharp. What happens if the bank doesn't let us keep going? What's our next step after today? His words struck a chord deep within her. Clara closed the distance and knelt down so she was eye level with him. Mark, those are important questions, and I'll be honest with you. We have some challenges ahead. But we're not alone. We have all these people here, supporting us. Win or lose, we'll find our way. Mark searched her eyes, processing her words. He finally nodded, but Clara saw the flicker of concern remain. Just then, the rival bakery owner stepped in closer, the same insincere smile plastered to their face. She felt a stern urge to confront them, but the warmth of her own community set boundaries around her. Instead of feeling anger, she felt grateful. They were on her side, that is when the festive spirit of the bake-off had its moment to shine. Signs were made, flour flew in the air, and voices rose in joyful cacophony. Clara joined in, laughing with the kids and exchanging ideas as plans evolved. As she picked up a whisk, she even felt a surge of purpose coursing through her veins. Yet within it all, the phone in her pocket buzzed again. It was such a familiar draw, vibrating against her hip, yet every thrum brought fresh anxiety. Clara fought against it. It was time to focus on today, on what they were all building, and not on the darkness that threatened to loom, but as she whipped up a delicate frosting, Clara couldn't shake the need to check that message. Something gnawed at her, a need inside to know what lay ahead, even if she wanted to ignore it for now. Hey, what's one more look going to hurt? She mumbled under her breath, her heart skipping a beat as she flicked her phone back on. But it wasn't just the bank that flashed on the screen this time. There was something else, an unexpected number, a name she hadn't seen in years. Clara's breath caught in her throat, the rhythm of the bake-off fading into blurred sounds around her. Who was reaching out now? What news could change everything yet again? She felt the pull of destiny begin to tilt, but would it bring her closer to the love she craved or push her further into turmoil? As Clara stared at the screen, the name gripped her like a vice. Gabriella. Memories came crashing back, both joyful and painful. Clara had loved her grandmother fiercely, a woman with a heart big enough to embrace the whole world, but also one with secrets that shattered their family. Putting her phone down, she fought to regain focus on the bake-off. Laughter echoed around her, but it suddenly felt distant. Clara's hands shook, not just from the excitement of competition but from the weight of memories resurfacing. She could almost hear her grandmother's voice in her ear, urging her to take risks and embrace life. Clara? Diego's voice broke through her fog, pulling her back. You good? We need your expertise on these desserts. She looked up, forcing a smile. Right. Sorry, I got lost in thought. Everyone's counting on you, he said, his eyes shining with encouragement. But the thought of Gabriella still loomed large. As Clara whipped the frosting, she found her mind drifting to every baking session she had shared with her grandmother. The way Gabriella knew the balance between sweet and tart, how she would always add a pinch of love to every recipe. Clara? Mark's voice cut through again, his expression a mix of curiosity and concern. Are we going to win? You said it's not just about winning, but Clara knelt to meet his gaze. He reminded her so much of her younger self, full of hope but still tethered to the fears of unpredictability. Listen, Mark. Winning is great, but it's about being proud of what we make together. No matter the outcome, your hard work counts the most. Her words seemed to ease some of the weight off him, and Mark nodded. Just then, a loud cheer erupted from the group working on chocolate-covered strawberries. Clara couldn't help but join in, her heart swelling with community spirit, but as she looked around, her vision landed back on the phone. The urge to check that message nagged at her more fervently now. What if it was an apology, a long-awaited reconciliation? Or was it just going to remind her of the past she tried to bury? With a deep breath, she snatched her phone and discreetly opened the message. Clara? Can we talk? I want to explain. The words hung in the air like a heavy cloud. I want to explain. Clara felt torn. Was this a chance for closure or simply another heartache waiting to happen? Just then, she saw Diego's jubilant face as he held up a perfectly frosted cake. Look! The colors are brilliant. he exclaimed, and Clara couldn't help but be drawn back into the joy around her. With every smile, every cheer, community transformed into warmth. "All right, guys," she called out, letting go of the phone for the moment. "Who's ready to shine? Let's make this the best bake-off ever." But even as she blended the flavors and watched her team work, a restlessness simmered beneath the surface. Would confronting the past make her stronger or bring chaos when everything felt so wonderfully right? And buried in her thoughts, one question haunted her: what had Gabriella meant to say? Clara felt the tides of fate shifting, a storm stirring just beyond her control as she savored the sweet scent of frosting. As they prepared for the final showcase, a surprising thought spiraled through her mind. What if this message was the key to understanding her own heart one way or another? Anticipation and dread mixed in equal parts as the bake-off reveal time sign flickered in the back, beckoning them to the next phase of the contest. Little did they know, the triumphs there would pale in comparison to the emotional revelations waiting just around the corner. Clara took a deep breath, steeling herself for what came next. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement as the bake-off contestants gathered for the final showcase. Clara's heart raced, both with the thrill of creative competition and the tightening grip of unresolved feelings. She glanced at her phone again, that single message still lingering like a shadow in her thoughts. "Can we talk? I want to explain." There it was, echoing through her mind. "Hey, Clara." Diego's voice jolted her back. "We need your flair for presentation." He gestured toward their dessert table, already overflowing with colorful treats, cupcakes topped with swirling frostings, multi-layered cakes, and the ever-popular chocolate-covered strawberries. "Right. Let's make them shine." She rallied back to her team, the revelry of the crowd surged, and Clara felt the warmth of camaraderie wash over her. As she arranged their final creations, vibrant colors burst beneath her fingertips. Every pastry radiated potential, much like her own emotions, bubbling up from deep within. But behind the joy, the anxiety remained. Could she allow herself to open that door to the past? Mark approached, eyes wide with question. "Are those cupcakes ready for the judges? What do you think they'll say?" Clara looked into his eager face, reminiscent of her younger self. "They'll love the effort we put in, no matter what. Remember, it's about more than just the accolades." Mark nodded earnestly, but she could see the traces of doubt behind his smile. The noise of cheers filled the air as the judges began to circulate. Clara tried to focus, but her thoughts spiraled back to Gabriella. So many questions remained unresolved. Why had her grandmother reached out now? Was the weight of those familial secrets finally lifting, breathing new life into their story? With each presentation, she turned to the audience, ready to bring them along in their journey. As their desserts caught the judges' eyes, Clara felt an urge to speak, to share a piece of herself she'd locked away for too long. Time seemed to slow as the judges delicately tasted each dish, their reactions becoming a mix of nods and smiles. Clara's heart raced with both hope and dread. Would a simple bake-off feel like a step toward unveiling her past? As the judges neared their table, Clara felt a warmth suffusing her heart. She couldn't ignore the connection between her baking and the love Gabriella had instilled in her. This was more than just frosting and batter, it was about the bittersweet memories of laughter and comfort. "Honestly, this is exceptional," one of the judges said, gesturing toward their signature cake. Clara felt a burst of pride swell within her. "Thank you," she exclaimed, her voice breaking slightly. And then, in the midst of the whirlwind, her phone vibrated again. She discreetly glanced at the screen. "Can we talk about the secrets?" A chill shot down her spine. Secrets. Clara's breath hitched. What did that mean for her? For everything? "Clara, you okay?" Diego's voice cut through, and she nodded, trying to shake off the cloud threatening to suffocate her determination, but the thoughts wouldn't stop swirling. Maybe this could be the moment everything changed, the past colliding with the present. She faced her team. "After this, I need some time. Just for a bit of reflection." They nodded, sensing the weight of her emotions, and she felt relief in their understanding. With one last look at the judges, Clara steeled herself for whatever lay ahead. What awaited her in that conversation? Did the power of revelation lead to healing or more heartache? As the final results were announced and cheers erupted, Clara felt a mixture of triumph and trepidation. Victory might feel sweet, but the roots of her past tugged at her, demanding to be addressed. The moment of revelation loomed large. With a heart full of uncertainty, Clara took a deep breath, affirming her path forward. What awaited her on the other side of that message would change everything, and soon, she would find out if she had the strength to face it. Clara stood at the edge of the crowd, laughter and applause ringing in her ears, but her heart was far from light. The message slid through her thoughts again, relentless and unavoidable. Can we talk about the secrets? The bittersweet feeling of victory twisted within her, pulling her in two directions. She had just poured herself into something hopeful and joyous, yet the shadow of that conversation loomed over her. Clara. We did it. Mark beamed, his enthusiasm bursting like the bubbles in soda. They had won. Yet the triumph didn't feel as fulfilling as it should have. She couldn't shake off the nagging feeling that her personal history might overshadow the moment. The crowd began to disperse, the excitement slowly fading. Clara exchanged joyful but distracted smiles with her teammates, the echo of cheers still vibrant in her ears. They had worked so hard, and yet here she stood, trapped in a fog of uncertainty. Diego, seeing her distant gaze, approached with a friendly, concerned look. You sure you're all right? You've been kinda quiet since he started, but she cut him off gently. I'm fine, really. Just a lot on my mind. This was amazing, though. You all are incredible. Her words sounded hollow even to herself, a mask for the chaos brewing underneath. Diego scanned her face for reassurance. Just remember, we're a team. Anytime you want to talk. Thanks, she replied softly, the weight of his sincerity filling her chest. They shared a knowing look, a moment steeped in camaraderie. Then, as the crowd began to thin, she knew it was time to face the one thing she had been avoiding. Clara slipped away from the joy of celebration, seeking a quiet corner near the back of the venue. The bright lights dimmed there, but her heart was anything but dim. She pulled out her phone and stared at Gabriella's message, her thumb hovering over the screen. Should she reply? What would she even say? That's when it happened. Another message appeared, a group chat notification along with a familiar name. Hey guys, what's the after-party plan? It was Jenna, always the life of the party, that struck a chord in Clara. She felt torn. The swirl of her team's laughter felt tempting, yet also dismissive of the emerging tension inside her. This wasn't just about cupcakes and competitions, this was about healing old wounds and figuring out where she truly belonged. Jenna, let me catch up later. I've got something to sort out, she typed back, instantly regretting the finality of it. She needed to have this conversation. She owed it to herself and to Gabriella. Taking a deep breath, Clara found a secluded spot and pressed her phone to her ear, dialing the only number that felt like a lifeline. After a few rings, it connected, and she braced herself as Gabriella's voice came through. Clara? Is that you? There was warmth, but also something else, understanding, maybe even caution. Grandma, I got your message, she began, her voice trembling ever so slightly. I think we need to talk. The silence on the other end felt heavy, like a doorway to another world swinging open. Clara's heart raced as the implications of the upcoming conversation settled into her bones. Of course. I have so much to tell you, and I think you deserve to know the truth behind everything. With those words, Clara felt a shift inside her. The secrets that lingered like ghosts in her past suddenly took on a new weight. This was a moment of potential, and she would meet it head-on. Okay. I'm ready, she replied, her voice steady now, filled with purpose. As they delved deeper into secrets long buried, Clara wondered what hidden stories would redefine everything she thought she knew about love, family, and herself. With every revelation, she could feel a flicker of change igniting steadfastly in her heart. What truths would come to light, and would they tear her apart or finally set her free? Clara, listen closely, Gabriella began, her voice a soft whisper through the crackling line. There are things about our family that you need to understand. Things I should have told you long ago. Clara's mind raced. What could be so significant that it had remained buried for years? She sat down on a nearby bench, feeling the cool metal beneath her. A breeze rustled the leaves overhead, mirroring the anxiety swirling inside her. "I'm here, Grandma," Clara said, trying to calm her racing heart. "What is it?" "A long time ago, I made choices out of fear." Your mother. Gabriella paused, her voice catching. "She had dreams, Clara. Dreams that were taken from her, from us." Clara swallowed hard, the mention of her mother always carried a weight. "What do you mean taken?" Gabriella took a deep breath. "There's been a shadow over our family. A secret about your mother's past that I should be shared with you. I thought I was protecting her, but really, I was just afraid. Afraid of the truth." The silence that followed felt like an eternity, each heartbeat loud in Clara's ears. She was no longer just a girl caught in a moment, she was diving into a deeper pool of family history. "Grandma, please. I need to know," she urged. "Your mother. She fell in love with someone who was considered wrong for her," Gabriella revealed, her voice trembling. "He wasn't just from another background, he was different in ways that could be endangered her. We lost her to fear she never shared." Clara's breath hitched. Her mother had always seemed so strong, so in control. "But why keep this from me?" "I could have understood. Because I was scared, Clara. I didn't want you to know that your family carries burdens, secrets that could change how you see yourself. It's taken a toll on us. I thought keeping you safe from those shadows would mean keeping them away from the light. But I see now it was the opposite." Clara shook her head, trying to process the whirlwind of emotions. Was this why she felt so tethered to an unseen weight? Was this why she had always felt different? "Is there more?" She pressed softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes. Your mother. The choices she made weren't just about love. They changed everything for you, for your future. I want to help you heal from this, to learn from what she endured. To see that love, real love, can transcend shadows." Clara's heart ached. This wasn't just about her mother, it was about a legacy, a relationship built around pain and secrets. "What do you want me to do with this, Grandma?" Gabriella paused, her sigh echoing through the receiver. "Open your heart, Clara. Understand that healing isn't just possible, it's necessary. Your mother loved fiercely, and I know that strength lives within you too. Don't let our past pull you down. Let it lift you." As the weight of her grandmother's words settled over her, Clara felt a flicker of something new, a resolve igniting in her chest. Perhaps this was the moment she had been waiting for, the moment to break free from the bonds of silence and emerge stronger. "Thank you for telling me," Clara managed to breathe out, hope threading into her voice. "This means everything." Gabriella's voice softened. "You're not alone in this, and there's still so much more to explore. Are you willing to dig deeper?" Clara nodded, despite being on the other end of the line. "Yes. I want to know everything." The conversation lingered in the air, intertwining their souls with threads of understanding and shared pain. Clara felt a shift within her, a healing that had been a long time in the making. There was power in forgiveness, in truth, but as she ended the call, she couldn't shake the feeling that there were still pieces missing from the puzzle. What else lay buried in the past? And would uncovering those truths deepen her bond with her family or crack it wide open? With her heart thumping, Clara stood, gazing across the venue where laughter still echoed faintly. She felt the thrill of uncertainty surround her, urging her to take the next step. What more would she discover, and would it propel her into the light or plunge her deeper into darkness? Clara took a deep breath, feeling the cool air fill her lungs. She needed to figure out where to go from here. The vibrant sounds of celebration faded into the background as she pored over her grandmother's words. This wasn't just about understanding her mother's past, it was about uncovering Clara's own identity. She looked around, her friends enveloped in bright laughter and carefree moments. Yet, all she felt was an unsettling knot in her stomach. How can I be part of that? She wondered. The buoyant energy around her felt remote, like watching a movie through frosted glass. She turned back to her phone, mind racing with questions. What had her mother lost? And who was this man she loved? The tightness in her chest began to loosen, replaced by a growing determination. She needed to know more, not just for herself, but for her mother and even for her grandmother who had carried the weight of those secrets for too long. Clara? A familiar voice interrupted her thoughts. It was Olivia, her best friend, with an inquisitive look on her face. You okay? You've been out of it. Yeah, I'm fine, Clara replied, putting on a brave smile even as her heart still ached. Just family stuff. Want to talk about it? Olivia asked, her tone genuine. After a moment's hesitation, Clara shook her head. I'll be okay. Just need to sort some things out. With that, she slipped away from the crowd. She couldn't shake the feeling that something monumental was about to unfold within her, but she needed a plan. Where could she start digging? Her first instinct was to talk to Gabriella again. The woman had been the keeper of their family history, but Clara also knew she had her own battles. She would need to tread lightly. Heading back to her car, Clara decided it was time to visit her grandmother in person. Through years of living apart, simple phone calls had never quite filled the void. She needed the comfort of Gabriella's presence, the warmth of her stories, and perhaps even the weight of some unspoken truths. As she drove toward her grandmother's home, Clara's mind wandered to the memories they had shared. Baking cookies in the winter, planting flowers in the spring, hearing the same old stories told with fresh laughter. But what if there were stories buried deeper than she ever knew? Pulling into the familiar driveway, her heart raced with anticipation. She knocked on the door, and it swung open almost immediately. Gabriella stood there, her expression a mixture of surprise and joy. Clara! She exclaimed, arms open wide, returning the embrace. Clara felt the safety of her grandmother's love wrap around her like a warm blanket. Can we talk? She asked, stepping inside. They settled into the sun-drenched living room, the scent of fresh coffee drifting through the air. Clara's hands felt clammy, her heart pounded, but the spirit of the moment encouraged her to push forward. I want to know everything about my mother, she declared. The truth. All of it. Gabriella's face clouded slightly. Are you sure, Clara? This might not be easy to hear. I need to know. I want to own this story, our story, Clara insisted, determination in her voice. As the afternoon sun filtered through the blinds, highlighting dust particles dancing in the air, Clara felt a strength surging within her. This was a new beginning. All right then, Gabriella said softly, her eyes glistening. Let us uncover the past together. The air thickened with unspoken words and hidden truths. Clara's pulse quickened, ready for whatever revelation awaited her. What would uncovering these stories truly reveal? Would she find the light she hoped for, or would it plunge her deeper into an unexpected darkness? Clara's journey was just beginning, and somewhere within those shadows, her family's secrets faded into the light. But as she leaned forward, eager to absorb every detail her grandmother would share, an unintended consequence drifted into her thoughts. What if understanding the truth changed everything she believed about herself? The afternoon sun painted a warm glow in Gabriella's cozy living room, but Clara's heart was a storm of anticipation and fear. Sitting across from her grandmother, she could feel the gravity of the moment settle between them. Please, tell me everything, Clara urged, her voice trembling with both hope and anxiety. Gabriella took a deep breath, her eyes softening with memories. Your mother was full of life, Clara. She had dreams of her own, ones that sparkled brighter than anything I could ever give her. But the world was harsh, and it often tried to snuff out that light. Her voice cracked, and Clara felt the weight of every shared memory, both joyful and painful. What happened? Clara asked, urgency filling her tone. Gabriella's gaze drifted to the window, as though searching for the right words in the distant sky. She fell in love, but it was a love that society would never accept. He came from another world, one filled with expectations that would crush her. Clara's heart raced. What do you mean? Who was he? His name was Miguel, Gabriella whispered, the name hanging in the air like a fine mist. He was a gifted artist, but he carried burdens of his own. People judged him before they even tried to understand. I thought I could protect your mother. But in doing so, I drove a wedge between us. She felt trapped. I made choices out of fear, and I lost her trust. The sadness in Gabriella's eyes mirrored a familiar ache Clara had carried for years. I never knew her dreams. I only remember her smiling at the bakery, baking with love. Gabriella nodded, tears shimmering. And she poured that love into everything she touched, including you, Clara. But those vegetables were only half the truth. After she passed, I wanted to protect you from that sadness, from my mistakes. Clara felt a flood of warmth washing over her, mixing with a wave of realization. The pain of their shared history was heavy, but it was also a bridge, a connection that could bring healing. I might have felt lost, but now I want to connect those dots. I want to embrace the love and the loss, and I need your help. Gabriella smiled through her tears, gratitude sparkling in her gaze. Then let us start anew, my dear. There's magic in the kitchen and in stories. Together we can weave a legacy of love, not fear. As Clara leaned forward, a sense of purpose ignited within her. She could almost hear the laughter echoing from the bakery, smell the sweet scent of apple pies, and feel the hope sizzling in the air. They dove into the depths of their family history, discovering more about her mother, about Gabriella, and even about Clara herself. Each tale bridged gaps in their relationship, mending the seams of love and loss. They shared recipes and memories, laughter mixed with tears. Clara realized that the heart of baking was about more than just flour or sugar. It was about resilience, passion, and bringing people together. Days turned to weeks. With her newfound courage and resolve, Clara proposed a community event beyond the bake-off, a celebration of stories, laughter, and unity. Let us have a family heritage day, she declared one evening. Inviting families to share their own stories and food will revive the bakery's spirit and welcome them back. Gabriella nodded enthusiastically. That's brilliant. We'll bring your mother's legacy to life, alongside our own. It's time to embrace those memories. Plans began to unfold. They enlisted the help of Diego and the community, each person contributing their own recipes and tales, interwoven like a quilt of resilience. Mark watched his mother grow, his admiration evident as Clara blossomed into a beacon of hope. The day of the event arrived, and Clara stood in the bakery, breathing in the fragrance that had once felt like a distant memory. The walls buzzed with laughter and chatter, old friends reconnecting and new ties being forged. People shared their stories, every bite resonating with laughter and memories, each dish a testament to love and family, and in that moment, Clara understood, it was never just about the ingredients. It was about legacy, about reaching out to understand and embrace the love that often lay hidden beneath life's challenges. She caught Mark's eye as he served up their pies, and radiated pride swelled in her heart. Here they were, together, stronger than ever. As the sun set behind the bakery, transforming the sky into a canvas of colors, Clara felt a deep-seated warmth settle within her. She turned to find Gabriella standing beside her, tears of joy shimmering in her eyes. "Thank you for finding your way back to us, Clara," she said softly. "You've rekindled a flame that had grown dim." Clara smiled, realizing the truth in those words. No more secrets, only love and understanding from now on. The community celebrated, love lighting every corner of the bakery, turning it into more than just a place to get sweets. It became a home. A symbol of togetherness, of resilience against the shadows, and forever a beacon of hope etched in every recipe shared. As Clara looked back at her cherished family and the friends who had poured their hearts into the celebration, she felt a mighty sense of fulfillment and peace. Tomorrow may reveal obstacles, but tonight the laughter rang out, strong and steady. Life continued, and so would they, hand in hand, heart to heart. This was the start of a new chapter, and Clara was ready to write it with love. Now, if you're feeling inspired by Clara's journey of transformation and resilience, you need to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss out on more exclusive stories that touch your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us bring more meaningful content your way. Don't forget to comment with your feelings about this incredible ending. We want to hear from you. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Let us keep this community thriving.